Uh, it's all about creating a plan. And what I'd like you to do, this presentation has 3 parts to it. The first part you do all by yourself. The second part we want you to get in groups of like 4 or 5 and kind of share. And then the third part, we're going to get a few people to share what they've done in their small groups and to share it with the big group. So we're going to see if we can make any more progress when we get the group as a whole to do it. So if you'll pass out on your side. What my day job is I'm a trainer. I teach job search skill classes at the Workforce Solutions office down the street. And one of the things that we tell you to do before you ever start looking for a job is to figure out what is your target. What are you trying to do? And sometimes you can't decide on that until you do a little self-exploration. So we give you some exercises to do to figure out what are your skills, what are your transferable skills, what are the things what are your passions, what are your interests, what are you curious about, all the different aspects of you, and then based on that stuff, then what is going to be your primary market? Now, sometimes people are so desperate, they're so panicked about not having a job, that they say, I just want to go do exactly what I was doing before. I'm going to go to a company that's as close as it can get to what I was doing before, and that's going to be my primary market. And so if you were working at Dell, then maybe your next job is going to be at Samsung, it's going to be at IBM, it's going to be at another very large global technology company, and that's going to be your primary market. And depending on how much unemployment you have and what your financial status is, you need to also, there needs to be a time component with how long are you going to hold out for that top level job. The one that pays similarly to what you made before, the one that you can just slide right into with very little training. How long are you going to give yourself? If you've just started your unemployment, you get 6 months. And so maybe you want to save, so for the first 2 months, I'm going to concentrate on just finding a job in those top 10 companies or whatever it is. And then the next 2 months, I'm still going to be looking for jobs in my primary market, but I'm also going to add my secondary market. Maybe it's going to be smaller tech companies, things that aren't global, things where they wouldn't pay quite as well. Maybe startups where you do a lot of different jobs. I don't know, whatever is your second best area of companies. So what would be the companies that would fall in that category? And maybe you're going to spend another 2 months adding those to the mix. And then you got to figure out, okay, if I haven't found anything in those areas, I've got to have a third category. The companies that I'm really not that interested in, but that might kind of complement what I've done before. So instead of working for one of the tech companies, maybe I'll work for a vendor company. Maybe I'll work for a service provider company. Wouldn't pay quite as well, but that's going to be my third level. And so you're going to add that to the mix and start looking for companies in that area. And then the fourth one, the mishospitality companies, maybe it's just going to be companies that don't pay well at all, but they're fun. What's your survival job? Maybe you're going to go teach. Teaching jobs will keep you in your career field, but they don't pay very well. They look good on a resume. What's going to be your last-ditch effort jobs? And sometimes when you have identified this is my primo job, it helps you make your decisions on the other jobs along the way. So what I'd like you to start with, we'll give you some examples of that in a little bit. In fact, here I'll give you this example. We had a girl years ago when we very first started Launchpad. We used to meet at ACC, and there was a girl who'd gotten laid off from Motorola, and she said, my next job is going to be pharmaceutical sales. And she said, I don't care how long it takes me, I'm going to be in pharmaceutical sales. And she was so focused and she was so excited about that and so passionate about it that the people in Launchpad applauded her. Because almost everybody comes here and they're just kind of devastated, you know, and it's like, what do I do now? She wasn't like that at all. She said, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to be in pharmaceutical sales. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm going to do it. And they just cheered for her. And she started out naming all of the pharmaceutical sales companies that were in Austin. That was her. So part A, you know, she did that. She listed all the companies. She tried to see, could she get an informational interview with as many of those companies as possible, building a network of people within that industry. And after she'd had a lot of informational interviews, I mean, she knew exactly the kinds of people that they hired, and she realized that she was not going to get a job in pharmaceutical sales. It used to be, years ago, you could get one of those jobs with a degree in anything, and especially if you were good looking, which she was. You used to be able to get those, but now you had to have a degree in a biological science and you had to have sales experience or they weren't talking to you. So she didn't have either one of those. So by that time, by the time she figured all of this out, her unemployment was running out. She was pretty desperate for an income, and she just took a job that was selling payroll check cashing services. So the company set her up with a home office, and she's on the phone all day calling companies that have a big workforce of people that were not very, that chances are they didn't have a checking account. And then payday, the truck would pull up full of money and they'd cash everybody's checks. And then after that job played out, so that was sales experience. So it's like, here's the center of her target, pharmaceutical sales. And she's in that outer fourth circle doing the payroll check cashing stuff. And then she left that job, and the next job she got was selling industrial first aid kits, door to door. So it was a little bit more like pharmaceutical sales, and it was kind of in the area of medical. And she was good at it. Again, it helped that she was good looking. She'd walk up to a manager and say, I'd like to have 10 minutes of your time to talk to you about something that is mandated by law and could actually save a life. And if they would say, I don't have any time right now, she'd say, well, I've got my calendar here. Let's get out something that fits for you. And she wouldn't leave until she kind of had set up a meeting with them. So she was good at it. She got Employee of the Year, Salesperson of the Year, the first year she worked for that company. She left that job, and the next job she got was with Dial Soap. And she got a car. They gave her a car. They gave her a laptop. They gave her a couple of cell phones. And one of her target markets was hospitals. And she was selling antibacterial soap products to hospitals. Now, will she ever become a pharmaceutical sales rep? I have no idea. But each decision that she made got her a little bit closer. And you know, she's focused on point B. This is where I want to get. Now, what is it going to take for me to get there? So you keep your eyes on the prize. And in the meantime, if you have to take something else, it's like strategically, will this get me closer to my goal, or will this take me further away from my goal? And sometimes you just do something that's not related to your goal at all, but it would be so much fun. Like you play a zombie in a movie. We've had people do that. So at any rate, I'm going to give you, we'll do 5 minutes. I'm going to give you 5 minutes to just kind of brainstorm. Think about companies in each of those areas. So you write down, this is the kind of work I want to do, or this is the industry where I want to be. And then the first part, your primary companies. What are the companies that would be your top tier companies? This is really where you'd like to go to work. And then think of other companies, you know, write them down in the various categories. Everybody clear? Get ready, get set, go. Okay, everybody, time's up. Now what I'd like you to do is to get into groups of like 4 or 5 and share your information with everybody. Say, here's what I'm trying to do. These are the companies I can think of that would be the most like this. And share especially your top tier ones, the center of your target. See if the other people in the group can suggest other companies that you don't know about. That's the big problem. Everybody knows about the big companies, but the little startup companies that you're not familiar with, see if anybody else can say, here's a company that I think would be a good fit for you, and come up with some more for your top tier companies. Everybody clear on that? So move your chairs around if you want to. Get in groups of 3 or 4 or 5 people. and share that information. Okay, everybody. Stop talking. I know I didn't give you a lot of time, so it could be that not everybody got to share what they were doing. You can continue that on your own time if you want, or go have lunch, or go have Dennis's presentation. But I want to give you a taste of the part 3. We just got such a late start on this that we didn't get to do it all. So the part 3 is, I'd like somebody to come up and tell us, this is the kind of work I'm looking for. Here were the companies that I put in my top tier. Here were the ones that people got me to add. And then we'll open it up to the whole group and see if everybody can come up with any more. So we're just networking a little bit bigger pond, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So who wants to come up here and do this? Okay, Daniel.
We got one. Do you want to go?
Okay. We'll do Daniel. We're going to do her first. Daniel, we're going to do her first because she came up behind, but you'll be in the bullpen.
Hi, my name is Nicole.
Okay, listen up, everybody. Listen up. Okay.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm looking something in the global enterprise escalations world. My target companies is Unisys, Apple, IBM, Dell, Access. And I was told, because of what I said last week, that maybe I should look into some logistics and fulfillment companies. Any suggestions?
So then, what companies did your little group come up with?
They didn't come up with companies, more like keywords, because not everybody knew local companies, names of local companies.
What keywords did they?
Global escalations management, logistics fulfillment for overseas companies.
So the suggestion was FedEx, UPS, and those are logistics companies. HID Global. That's not the people that make the security badges? Oh, okay.
Hi. Yes, in my list. Thank you.
Now, if logistics is, U-Ship is a good one. That's an expanding company in Austin that ships everything everywhere. There's also a company where we have a Launchpad person who's in management, and it's called Nugistics. And this guy used to be a FedEx executive, and which got things from point A to point B. And what Nugistics does is it returns things. So it gets things from point B that didn't fit right and gets them back to point A. I think it's global.
Apple does their logistics out of Austin.
So add Apple. Who else? Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, she's got Amazon on it. Okay, cool. Thank you for all your suggestions. Daniel, you're up.
Oh, hi. This might be a little bit selfish. My other members are still working on their lists. But I did get a few pointers from them. I'm interested in database administration or database analysis, or both. Even within database administration, there's a lot of subcategories, data warehousing and a few other things. Anyway, Oracle Corporation, right down the street, is on my list. I'm Oracle certified. I'm looking to get recertified in their latest version, which is an in-memory product. SmartDog, which is a Oracle consulting company on that side near Lake. I don't know all the areas. I'm from Los Angeles, but they're in Austin as well. I'm guessing the standard Ernst & Young, Accenture, some of the consulting companies, the city of Austin, Travis County, state of Texas, and anything else that y'all might know. I had one from a gentleman, Steve? recommended Convault. Convault, yeah. So I should look into
What is that?
Data storage.
Ah, data storage, okay.
Okay. And any advice people might have, I'm definitely open to it. Rackspace. Expanding.
Pat?
My one bit of advice, I don't know specifically, but I mean, I see a ton of things that have requirements for Oracle knowledge. And so if you get something in particular that is pretty technical and not at, like in your search terms, both on LinkedIn and in Indeed, that can really start pulling out things that are good leads for you.
Oracle comes up a lot in searches. Has anybody noticed that? Comes up a lot. Oracle. But it also comes surrounded by all sorts of other skills. A lot of the company you mentioned last week had 10 million different requirements.
What about just any company that uses Oracle as their CRM?
That's a whole lot of them. The thing is that if there's a specific piece or a specific tool that you've used that isn't quite so pervasive, then that will help kind of narrow it in a little bit more.
Well, also, lastly, what I've noticed, the more specific you get with Oracle tools, applications, etc., the more likely you are to be acceptable to a company. So, yeah.
Just change the system for a lot of people like me.
Excellent. Mood Media? Is that what you said? So for those of you who didn't hear, said his wife works for a company called Mood Media, and they just merged with another company to Muzak. Oh, Muzak. Elevator music. And that they've migrated over to the Oracle system, and people can't get it, and they're quitting. So maybe that would be a good opportunity for Daniel to come in and say, I know this software and I can handle this. So that's a good idea. Anybody else? Okay. Cool. Thank you. Let's see what time it is. All right. We got time for one more. One more person want to come up? All right.
Good morning. So I'm currently doing some things to prepare for the next opportunity by recertifying in Cisco networking, and I'm also going to take their course in voice, which is unified communications. So my badge here says IT and telecom, and the companies that I noted down here I'm familiar with from my previous position. Level 3, Grande Communications, Time Warner, Shoreline Communications, anybody heard of them? They do implementations of voice over IP for medium-sized businesses. AT&T and Verizon, obviously huge companies. So I thought this was a fun game to play if anybody knows of smaller companies in our area that might be implementing new telecom solutions for medium-sized companies.
What about, this isn't exactly the same, but what about Life Science Communications and Polycom that do teleconferencing?
Okay.
That set up. So Polycom, and we have some Launchpad people that work for both of those. So Life Science Communications and Polycom.
Okay. Well, let me write those down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah? LCRA. Oh, that's really good information. So for those of you who couldn't hear that, she said LCRA. Did you used to work for them?
No, I interviewed for them.
Oh. Okay, but she did a lot of research with LCRA, and that they also have a big telecom component because they set up telecom networking for all the little towns that can't afford it because of all the little towns along the river. And so that's a huge part that most people don't know about. And that's the kind of information that you want to get with a SWAT team or with a clublet or with a larger networking group, is that so many people are aware of things that small companies, startup companies, splinter companies that have some kind of an odd application going on. And so that's a huge piece of information. Anybody else have an idea for a telecom piece? Lifesize. And their website is lifesize.com. Yeah, Daniel. Google Fiber. Is there any movement on that? Mark Strama is in charge of it. You know, he stepped down from his state legislator position, and he's in charge of it. He used to be a friend of Launchpad, but we can't get him to talk to us these days. He's too busy. So I don't know. I've got some people that have been in telecom that are trying to get into Google Fiber, and I haven't heard any movement. Has anybody heard anything from them? Okay. All right. Well, that was kind of fun. We've never done that before. But I do think that sometimes you think, I've tried everything, and when you really sit down with a SWAT team, with a small group of people, I almost wish we didn't have Dennis's thing afterwards so that you could kind of hang here and keep talking. But that doesn't mean you couldn't still do it after Dennis's presentation. I hope a lot of you will stay for that.